If frozen embryos are children, what's next for all the children frozen in IVF banks right now? Anyone in academia, law, or journalism following these patterns see any intention behind all this? What is the game plan in determining embryos are children? We have already seen women having less rights than a cluster of cells. If frozen embryos are children, I'm a bit terrified of what's next. Are they going to rule that the frozen embryos deserve to live? Is this a step toward more forced birth? Are we looking at forced implantations? Edit obligatory. Wow, this blew up, but in all seriousness, I'm glad we're having this conversation. We need to keep asking questions like this. Seems like most people are as concerned as I am, and understand that through a historical lens, things aren't looking great. To parrot a comment, a vote. I can't respond to everyone, but I'm reading as much as I can, and want to pull some references and resources up into the OP here, when I get a chance. This story text now 20 they re 20 celebrating 20 their 21st 20 birthday. Text Timothy 20 and 20 Lydia 20 Ridgeway 20 Hold. Birthday 20 is 20 Tuesday 2 see the 20th of October, 2031. About 30-year-old embryos being born under the authority of a Christian organization is particularly concerning. These children were born of embryos that were 30 years old, from a company that is explicitly Christian. The kind of selective decision-making on who gets to reproduce that's generally frowned upon. And the church has a lot of voting power across the states. And that's just one aspect of the problem. When it comes to not worrying about drastic overnight change, I think the most of us here are women who have seen what incremental change looks like when our rights are being stripped away, and giving embryos human rights counts as a step, not an end goal. To put it mildly, this is serious shit, and we need to keep talking about it. I'm guessing some right-to-lifer is going to be pushing the court to rule that if frozen embryos are children, then all embryos are children. Enter Gilead. I'm waiting for all the hospitals and clinics to be served with truancy warrants. Everything in The Handmaid's Tale are things that actually happened on a systemic level, if that's any clue for you. I think the bigger question is if the court decision will immediately ban the use of every contraceptive that works by preventing implantation. I guarantee you a court filing is being drafted for that. I'm convinced it's a step towards forced birth. I assume, for example, they'll offer female prisoners the chance of a shortened sentence if they carry one of the frozen embryos to term. They'll definitely prey on the desperate and disadvantaged. I vote we implant them in the men making these rulings. An ectopic pregnancy isn't a valid reason to get an abortion, so they should be duped just fine. Forcing the genetic mothers, I don't know the term here, to host the babies would seem to be the next step down this line of thinking. Offering prisoners shorter sentences or unemployed women money would be the other. I can't wait until the first divorce case. I want some woman to sue her husband for child support for all of their frozen children. Can you claim the embryos as dependents? Does moving them from one state to another count as trafficking? Does a hospital or university's refusal to do anything with the embryos, due to fear of legal action from the state, count as kidnapping, as you would be denied access to your children? Of course they didn't think things through. It's all about control and domination. We continue to slide into an American dark age, if we aren't there already. I suspect that the Alabama court is about to be overturned. IVF is big business, lots of people make lots of money. There is no way the present SCOTUS would ban IVF, or make IVF harder. That and the AL ruling had like 40 references to God that even the originalists will find hard to support. Yes, we are. Also, the storage of these frozen children is not free. Neither the pregnancy, or the birth, or the post-birth childcare or healthcare would be. If we have learned anything about the Christo-fascists, it's that facts don't matter. They will make up whatever fact is most useful. I'm worried about what will happen if science makes extremely premature birth more survivable. Will they change the definition of when a fetus is considered viable or force people to bear the costs of saving them? Are your embryos tax deductions now? Do we have to worry about these not going to school at 5 years in a jar? Do the embryos become responsible for their own taxes at 18 years in the frozen jar if not used? These are the weird questions I had last night. Next, they're going to insist that women carry all of those embryos to term, and prevent abortion in case of chromosomal abnormalities causing women to go through dangerous pregnancies over and over again, possibly even if the women have demonstrated that another pregnancy is dangerous to their health, even if the quality of life of those children is poor, full of suffering. The ultimate goal appears to be to keep women barefoot and pregnant, and this appears to be the best shot yet at that goal. This is the dystopian nightmare I never imagined would happen in my lifetime. Local here. Hospitals have already started stopping IVF as a result. My friend was supposed to start very soon. I don't see forced implantations in the pipeline, but maybe the requirement that the embryos stay frozen in perpetuity, which is costly. Not sure what happens when the parents pass away at the end of their lives either. I think it means that IVF will not be available anymore because there will be too much risk, cost, jail potential, etc. Maybe the people who can't afford abortions are, in this mindset, supposed to give their kids to the people who can't do IVF anymore. Since none of them are American citizens, we should deport them. Since citizenship requires you to be born. Gonna count them on the census, then make like 100 billion and get my state to have the whole Senate. I'm over here thinking, when does a woman on her period get charged for murder since she's losing a viable unfertilized egg? I want off Mr. Bones' wild ride. Edit in fertilized to unfertilized me fail English? That's impossible. The intention is to ban birth control, since some forms prevent embryos from implanting. Who is going to be putting coats on all those cold babies? Alabama just killed themselves. There's absolutely nothing of value there besides the university academics, and doctors will not prioritize Birmingham as an option after this ruling. In the grimmest possible way, I'm pleased with this ruling in Alabama. All these absurd scenarios, e.g., can I claim 100 frozen fetuses as dependents? Sheds needed light of how, in addition to being morally reprehensible, the pro-life position is ridiculous and not compatible with reality. Gotta have those infants to enter the adoption pipeline. Nobody wants problematic older kids. If they try to force these horrid laws on the federal level, then I will seriously consider leaving the country. I already have a passport, but the obstacle is my fiancé, who will probably not want to leave. Oh, I've been downvoted to hell on this sub for stating that locking women up for the duration of pregnancy isn't far off. It won't be all women, but it's coming. People have been trying for decades to do it, but with Dobbs, it will be a reality. Get in a car wreck? Reckless driving. Too dangerous for the fetus. No more driving for you. We have a few, and I plan to claim them on my taxes if it comes to FL, which it will. Only a matter of time. Handmaiden's tale grows ever closer with every old white man judge who misses the 50s. I think that the realistic things that will happen in the nearish future is that 1, it will go to the Supreme Court, and will be overturned because of all the insane implications that have been listed here. 2, Republicans in Alabama will use it to ban birth control. 3, the court will continue to rule that embryos are humans when they want them to be and not humans when they don't want them to be, meaning they are human when they want to ban your IUD, but they aren't human when you want tax write-offs. We're really about to have The Handmaid's Tale in real life? Oh boy. I remember watching the Handmaid's Tale TV show, and a lot of people watching said that it was demonizing Christians and that this would never happen. I agreed with the latter statement at the time, that this would never happen. I was very wrong. The frozen embryos will be shipped to facilities in blue states, where storage and implantation can happen without fecal smearing conservative influence. How long before they count embryo time as part of your age? She was born 10 years ago, but she's 14 years old. That means I can marry her.